Chapter 1061. Celestial Master Lei Yi. You're Jian Wushuang, that little low-born bastard with weak bloodline and the son of an insignificant man from the ancient world? Celestial Master Lei Yi's cold words, obviously meant to humiliate Jian Wushuang, echoed throughout the drill ground. The experts present were immediately swept into an uproar. They never expected Lei Yi to respond with such insulting words. The atmosphere instantly turned tense. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned icy cold. He raised his head to stare at Lei Yi. "Old man, what did you just say? Didn't you hear me? Let me repeat myself." Lei Yi sneered before slowing down. "I called you little bass." He did not even finish his sentence. Bang! The ground under Jian Wushuang's feet disintegrated as he leaped into the air. Out of the blue, Lei Yi found himself surrounded by a terrifyingly strong killing intent. A chilly, whistling wind penetrated his skin. He could already feel the stinging pain on his face. Instead of panicking, he appeared delighted at this scene. "Ha ha! What an idiot! We're now at the inauguration ceremony for the new supervisor. Here am I wondering how to kill him, but he's the one who's starting the fight. This means the supervisor can't blame me even if I kill him. After all, I need to defend myself." Lei Yi sniggered as a purple long spear appeared in his hand. The purple thunderbolt gathered around his spear. The thunderbolt, rolling and beating, gave off the dreadful and deadly aura. Lei Yi's eyes glinted as he watched Jian Wushuang approach and then directly thrust his spear at the latter. This move awakened countless purple thunderbolts that flowed frantically in the air, tearing apart the void around them. The thunderbolts continued to gather and form a huge purple dragon with a wave of Lei Yi's spear. The dragon let out low howls and pounced on Jian Wushuang with its jaw wide open. Heaven's bane. Killing intent continued to gush out of Jian Wushuang's body. The sword essence that soared into the sky and the power of three-sword principle gathered in his sword. He then furiously swung his sword. The earth cracked, the void shattered, and a tremendous black hole appeared. The black hole expanded as it ruthlessly devoured everything around it. The experts on the drill ground were taken aback after seeing the sword light in black hole and swiftly stepped back to keep their distance from the battle. Boom! That ferocious dragon once again clashed with Jian Wushuang's sword strike. It was as if two stars had collided. When the two powers collided, horrible waves and air currents frantically swept out in all directions. The powers clashed violently the moment the sword shadow met the huge dragon made out of purple thunderbolts. No one could predict the outcome of this battle. Finally, the dragon divided into innumerable thunderbolts that quickly dispersed. When the dragon disappeared, Jian Wushuang's sword shadow also completely lost its power. Humph! Jian Wushuang stepped forward, his eyes glinting with killing intent. He crossed tens of thousands of miles with a single step, bringing him in front of Lei Yi once again. Death Shadow! Jian Wushuang made a low bellow. The crisp echo of the sword resounded, the sound as entrancing and melodious as water drops falling on the bamboo trees in the mountains. A flash of sword light followed instantly. "What's this?" Lei Yi frowned. The moment he heard the echo of the sword, he detected that a terrifying consciousness attack was coming for him. Not only was this consciousness attack quiet, but it was also overwhelming. There were 3 of them in total. The attacks landed on Lei Yi the same time, each one stronger than the one before it. Lei Yi was a genuine celestial master with an iron will. Even so, his speed diminished significantly after the 3 consecutive consciousness attacks struck him. When the beautiful sword shadow came, he could barely raise his spear and put it in front of himself. Clang! The low sound of a collision resounded. Lei Yi took a step backward. What a strange strike! Lei Yi was rather horrified. That blow is weird indeed. It consisted of 3 consciousness attacks that affect me silently. Fortunately, I have a strong will or I would have already been killed by his consciousness attacks and sword shadow. How could he easily withstand my heaven's bane and death shadow? Jian Wushuang wondered in surprise. Jian Wushuang had made great progress in his sword principles and swordsmanship after cultivating in the Blood Azura clan for 120 years. Not only did he create the powerful and terrifying bladed surge, but he also greatly improved the power of Heaven's Bane and Death Shadow. For instance, He had improved Heaven's Bane so that it was now stronger and swifter. Death's Shadow, on the other hand, had become even stranger, quieter, and faster. In addition, Death Shadow's consciousness attack had increased from 1 attack to 3. His consciousness attack was previously hidden in the sword light, whereby his enemy would suffer the attack only after seeing the sword light. Now, his attack was contained in the sword echo and could take effect even without the sword light. Coupled with his current strength of 3-star Imperial Kinsman Ancient God and the power of his 3 sword principles, the 2 techniques that he unleashed were certainly terrifyingly powerful. Yet, Lei Yi still managed to ward them off with ease. Kill. Jian Wushuang's gaze turned razor-sharp. Under the rapt attention of many experts, he launched another strike with an even stronger killing intent. Humph. Brat, don't think too highly of yourself. With a deafening roar, another purple long spear emerged in Lei Yi's hand. He now had 2 purple long spears in hand, each of them surrounded by countless purple thunderbolts. Chapter 1062. Defeated. Bang! Jian Wushuang once again exchanged blows with Celestial Master Lei Yi on the drill ground. The battle between 2 men who possessed the strength of a Celestial Master had caused significant damage to the ground. The remaining wave had a terrifyingly destructive power. The surface of drill ground was lifted as if doomsday had arrived. Go to hell! Lei Yi waved his 2 purple spears at the same time, and the enormous purple thunderbolt turned into thunderclouds that immediately covered thousands of miles. Soon, the thunderclouds moved toward Jian Wushuang. Break! Jian Wushuang turned into a powerful, sharp sword. Unleashing his strong sword essence, he pulled out his Blood Mountain sword and used the Heaven's Bane. Bang! 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 The explosive sounds of a frightening roar and energy colliding resounded continuously in the void. This time, a great number of experts from the influential clans had come to attend the inauguration ceremony of the new supervisor. They now watched the battle unfold with a startled look. No one expected that Jian Wushuang would dare start a fight at the ceremony. Moreover, he was just an Eternal Realm expert whose opponent was a famous Celestial Master. They were evidently not at the same level, but he still dared to attack Lei Yi without hesitation. What a brave lad! The crowd admired Jian Wushuang's courage. He was even more unruly than Patriarch of Empyrean Glory. Proud and unruly as Patriarch of Empyrean Glory was, he wouldn't dare to take the initiative to challenge a Celestial Master while still in the Eternal Realm. Not only did Jian Wushuang dare make the first attack, but he also managed to frighten the rest with his overwhelming power. Celestial Master. His battle strength must have reached the level of a Celestial Master. Oh, God! To think that an Eternal Realm expert and a Celestial Master would be so well matched that neither can gain the upper hand. Could I be dreaming? Most of the experts couldn't help expressing their amazement. They could hardly believe what they were witnessing. They had been shocked when they learned that Jian Wushuang was still alive after taking 3 blows from Patriarch of Empyrean Glory. Shocked as they were, they could accept it, for they had assumed that Jian Wushuang survived thanks to the protection of some treasure with incredible defensive power. The only thing that battle could prove was that Jian Wushuang had a knack for staying alive. No one recognized his real strength in that battle. Today, however, he fought Lei Yi head-on and didn't fall into a state of disadvantage. This indicated that he had acquired the battle strength of a Celestial Master. The strength of an Eternal Realm expert rivals a Celestial Master's? The experts were in disbelief. That brat! Patriarch of Empyrean Glory narrowed his eyes and clenched his fists tighter. Many experts turned to look at him with complicated glances. Patriarch of Empyrean Glory had tried to kill Jian Wushuang 120 years ago, but the latter remained alive after suffering 3 of his full-strength blows. News of their battle had long been spread far and wide. Back then, Jian Wushuang hadn't been a worthy opponent for Patriarch of Empyrean Glory. The latter had known that Jian Wushuang was just at the level of rank 3 Dao Master, close to a common Dao Master's strength at most. Yet look at what Jian Wushuang was capable of right now. Jian Wushuang had gained the battle strength of a real Celestial Master in 120 years, his power reaching the middle level. Lei Yi had strong battle strength among the Celestial Masters, after all. His terrifying. This kid's talent is too terrifying. Patriarch of Empyrean Glory sighed with emotion. Jian Wushuang remained locked in a fierce battle with Lei Yi on the battlefield. He appeared in front of Lei Yi as abruptly as a ghost, his eyes glinting. Then, he furiously thrust his sword. A terrifying force tore the space ruthlessly. What? Lei Yi frowned. He could sense that this strike was much more powerful than the one before it. Is he using his unique skill? Lei Yi sneered as he thrust his two purple spears straight toward the sky. A sharp sound of an explosion immediately reverberated. This was Lei Yi's strongest technique thunder explosion. Bang! The earth trembled and things fell silent. The space where the two forces met had already shattered. Humph! The overwhelming power penetrated his blood-killing plate armor, and whatever power remained entered his body. He felt his internal qi and blood running wild and subsequently spat out a mouthful of blood. Jian Wushuang's eyes remained grim, displaying the anger deep within. Explode! With a fierce roar, Jian Wushuang triggered the power concealed in his sword. The power burst out and formed a second layer of strength. Oh no! There was a dramatic change in Lei Yi's expression. The terrifying power hit him instantaneously, causing him to tremble violently and spit out blood. His aura diminished sharply as he was forced backward, making him a pathetic sight to behold. This breathtaking fight that lasted for only several breaths finally came to an end. Lei Yi had retreated to the very edge of the drill ground. He started at Jian Wushuang as he clutched his chest. Jian Wushuang still wore a cold look. The outcome astounded the experts from different clans. It was shocking enough Jian Wushuang and Lei Yi had been equally matched, but now, it was evident that Jian Wushuang had defeated Celestial Master Lei Yi. Their astonishment was beyond words. To think that an Eternal Realm expert beat a Celestial Master in the field. This was an explosive and shocking piece of news. Fortunately, I had not desperately wanted him dead. I couldn't take his life then, but now, he can definitely kill me. Patriarch of Empyrean Glory mused as he stared fixedly at Jian Wushuang. He had completely given up on the thought of avenging his son. Suddenly, an angry voice resounded. What are you doing? Several figures came flying toward them from a distance. They were experts from the Samsara Temple, including two elders. Jian Wushuang recognized one of them to be Ding Mo. Now that the experts from the Samsara Temple had arrived, they could no longer continue their fight. The other experts continued to give Jian Wushuang strange looks. After all, he was the one who started the fight. What's going on? Ding Mo stood in the center of the field, looking around the drill ground with a frown. His gaze eventually settled on Jian Wushuang and Lei Yi. Jian Wushuang, Celestial Master Lei Yi, please explain yourselves. Chapter 1063, Supervisor. Jian Wushuang, Celestial Master Lei Yi, please explain yourselves. Silence fell over the drill ground after Ding Mo finished speaking. The experts present waited to see what would happen next. The pale-faced Lei shot Jian Wushuang a cold glare before gritting his teeth and saying, Elder Ding Mo, the crowd can be my witness. Jian Wushuang was the one who attacked me first. Is that true? Ding Mo turned to Jian Wushuang. I'm the one who attacked first, Jian Wushuang said, acknowledging his fault in an indifferent voice. There was nothing worth denying over. This was the truth. Jian Wushuang, you started a fight and reduced the drill ground to ruins in the inauguration ceremony of our new supervisor. How dare you belittle our supervisor and Samsara Temple like this? Ding Mo asked in a reproachful tone. While Ding Mo admired Jian Wushuang's talent, he couldn't just turn a blind eye to what he had done. Today, Jian Wushuang's rash act did offend their new supervisor. I did act recklessly today. I'd like to pay for what I have done. Jian Wushuang apologized with a serious expression as he looked at Ding Mo. But I'd never regret my actions. Since I now have the intention to kill, I'll never quit until I die. Celestial Master Lei Yi, I might not be able to end your life in the inauguration ceremony today, but remember that I'll go after you once the ceremony is over. I'll hunt you down wherever you run and hack you into 10,000 pieces. Even if you hide in the ancient demon clan forever, I'll wait until I become a Dao master and slaughter the clan to find you. When that happens, you'll be as good as dead. Jian Wushuang's words that were full of strong killing intent reverberated throughout the drill ground. It startled the experts from the different forces. Lei Yi's face turned pale. He hadn't taken Jian Wushuang seriously before their fight, and his words earlier were intended to humiliate the latter. More importantly, he had wanted to agitate Jian Wushuang so that he could get a chance to take him out. He did manage to infuriate Jian Wushuang enough to attack him. His plan had succeeded. But he was surprised to find Jian Wushuang to be this strong. Jian Wushuang had defeated him in a direct confrontation. He couldn't help quaking in his boots after hearing Jian Wushuang's threat. Jian Wushuang's strength was above his, and to make things worse, he also had great potential. If such a dangerous man made up his mind to pursue him, it would definitely be his nightmare. Hunt me down? You better worry about how to save yourself after offending our supervisor in public. Did you think you can easily placate him? Lei Yi snorted. He was an irritable and conceited person. He might fear Jian Wushuang, but he was unwilling to bow down to him. Jian Wushuang, no one can challenge the supervisor's prestige, Ding Mo added. Of course, it depends upon his mood. If he's in a good mood, he'll spare you with just an apology. Otherwise, he might just take your life in a fit of anger. Take care. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes but showed no anxiety on his face. He was stronger now. Even if the supervisor did not forgive him, he could still keep himself safe. He did not have to act cowardly now that he was equipped with profound cultivation and skills. Besides, it was Celestial Master Lei Yi who pushed his buttons. Little low-born bastard with weak bloodline, the son of nobody from the ancient world? Not only did he humiliate me, but he also degraded my father. He deserves to die. Jian Wushuang growled. Just then, here comes the supervisor. The sudden loud sound caused a commotion in the drill ground. Most of the experts looked in the direction of the voice. So did Jian Wushuang and Lei Yi. The supervisor is here. I'd like to see how this fellow dies. Lei Yi snorted. A silver-haired man, escorted by dozens of golden-robed servants and 2 elders, slowly walked up to them. He was dressed in a rugged indigo-colored robe and emanated no special aura. He appeared utterly ordinary upon first glance. Many experts were surprised when they saw the man in the indigo-colored robe. Such a distinguished temperament. How unworldly. Is he the new supervisor of the Samsara Temple? He's extraordinary, as expected. These experts had met countless big shots in their life, and the moment they saw the indigo-robed man, they could tell that he was a remarkable figure. His disposition distinguished him from the rest. He looked aloof, as if he was completely removed from any worldly affairs. The insignificant mortals, overlords, experts, or celestial masters from the Samsara continent seemed to make no difference to him. His exceeding composure was far beyond anyone's reach. The indigo-robed man who stood in the center of the drill ground was on the receiving end of the crowd's attention. With a wave of his hand, a black throne emerged out of thin air behind him. He took a seat in a carefree manner and looking at the crowd with his profound eyes. Those met his eyes were left in awe. The man was able to make others yield to him with his indifference and unworldly disposition without taking action or deliberately emanating his aura. I heard that this new supervisor is the source of many legends and that it took him only some 2,000 years to reach the 9th phase of reincarnator. He's the only one to achieve that in such a short amount of time. Only 2,000 years? How is that even possible? It's true. I also heard that the Samsara Temple Master deeply favors this supervisor. Rumors even have it that the Samsara Temple Master has taken him as his personal disciple. The Samsara Temple Master's personal disciple? That's... The crowd continued discussing the new supervisor. However, the indigo-robed man wasn't interested in their compliments. He swept his gaze through the experts before finally settling on Jian Wushuang. When he found Jian Wushuang, a profound, elusive smile appeared on his face. Jian Wushuang remained still while meeting the indigo-robed man's stare. The man was the only one reflected in his eyes. Chapter 1064. Since he wants you dead, you should die. What's going on here? The indigo-robed man smiled faintly at them, his voice drifting far and wide. My lord, Jian Wushuang and Celestial Manor Lei Yi from the ancient demon clan fought earlier, Ding Mo replied deferentially. It's Jian Wushuang who attacked me first, leaving me no choice but to defend myself. I never thought of offending you, my lord, Lei Yi immediately explained. I see. The indigo-robed man remained expressionless. He then turned to Jian Wushuang and asked, is he telling the truth? Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. The strong killing intent that he carried skyrocketed as he continued speaking in a gloomy voice. I want him dead. Oh. The supervisor raised an eyebrow. The experts gathered on the drill ground wore complicated expressions after hearing Jian Wushuang's words. They never expected him to remain so stubborn and blurt out his thoughts in the supervisor's presence. Humph. How dare you be so audacious in front of our supervisor? You want me dead? Let's see who will die first. Lei Yi sneered. In his opinion, Jian Wushuang's stubbornness would only bring him closer to his grave. If Jian Wushuang was a little more courteous, admit his mistakes, and apologize, the supervisor might consider letting him off. But now, this seemed highly unlikely. He's really digging his own grave. Lei Yi's eyes turned exceptionally cold and sharp. Celestial Manor Lei Yi, the supervisor said, shifting his gaze to once again look at Lei Yi. Did you hear what Jian Wushuang said? Yes. Lei Yi nodded gravely and answered in a cold voice. My lord, Jian Wushuang acted recklessly and stirred up trouble at your inauguration ceremony. Even in your presence, he remains egotistical and shows no respect for you. He has committed an unpardonable crime. I hope that you'll inflict a strict punishment on him. He was eager to kill Jian Wushuang now. Since he dared not to ask the supervisor for an execution, he pleaded with the supervisor to inflict a severe punishment on Jian Wushuang instead. Inflict a strict punishment? The supervisor smiled, looking as if he was ruminating. Jian Wushuang remained apathetic as if he was confident and secure in his innocence. In fact, the gaze he cast on Lei Yi appeared to carry a hint of pity. Poor man. Jian Wushuang sneered deep inside. Celestial Manor Lei Yi, the indigo-robed man called his name again. Let's put aside the matter of inflicting a strict punishment on Jian Wushuang for the time being. I just want to know whether you heard his words. Lei Yi was stunned. He began to doubt himself. Didn't Jian Wushuang say that he wanted me dead? Of course I heard him loud and clear. The supervisor ought to have heard it as well, so why is he asking me? Confused as he was, he nodded in agreement. I heard his words. Good. That way you at least know why you're killed, the indigo-robed man responded with a little smile. What? Celestial Manor Lei Yi was startled. The experts were similarly taken aback. Since he wants you dead, then, you should die, the indigo-robed man answered flatly. The moment he finished his sentence, a flash of sword light appeared. The sword light was so dazzling that it attracted the attention of all the experts present. They noticed that the indigo-robed man seemed to have turned into another person. Earlier, he looked composed and gave off no special aura. Yet, his aura now was so strong and sharp that it seemed it could sabotage everything. He seemed like an invincible magic sword with an insurmountable power. In this world, no one was his equal. That brilliant sword light was eye-catching. However, it moved extremely slowly despite how brilliant and dazzling it was. Yes, it was slow. On the surface, this attack appeared slow and weak. Even an Eternal Realm expert could easily dodge this attack, never mind a Celestial or Dao Master. However, the target of the sword light, Celestial Master Lei Yi, was frozen in place. He was desperate to evade the sword light, but he realized he moved too slowly to do so. He was slow, excruciatingly so. He moved even slower than the sword light. What the hell? His expression mirrored the amazement and confusion he felt deep inside. He felt an unprecedented panic and terror overpowering his emotions. He stood there, wide-eyed as he watched the slow sword light come near. He saw it hit him before he could brandish his spear to block it. Clang! A muffled sound of collision resounded in the air, accompanying the raining of blood. Lei Yi remaining standing in place, but his life was slipping away at an amazing speed and his cultivation disappeared instantly. Soon, he leaned backward and fell to the ground. Before he died, he was still in the dark as to why the new supervisor killed him instead of penalizing Jian Wushuang who had offended him. Moreover, he had been unable to see clearly the execution of the supervisor's swordsmanship. It was to the point that he didn't even know why or how the swordsmanship even killed him. The sword strike shattered his organs and flesh as well as his life core. It was impossible for him to live after such an attack. Silence fell over the drill ground. The experts stared at the dead Lei Yi, looking appalled. The sword light astounded them. That's impressive. It was unknown who made the startled exclamation. Before long, commotion broke out on the drill ground. That blow, Patriarch of Empyrean Glory looked at the indigo-robed man in shock. That strike was formidable indeed. Even I don't have enough confidence in warding off that blow. Celestial Manor Lei Yi had the honor to die at the supervisor's hands, Patriarch of Empyrean Glory muttered, shaking his head. That blow also left a deep impression on Jian Wushuang. His eyes were filled with shock and excitement. Illusion. Yes, it's an illusion. Jian Wushuang wrung his hands. The sword appeared pitifully slow, but it was actually unimaginably swift. It was even faster than when I unleashed a sword strike using the Aurora sword principle at full strength. It was so fast that it formed an illusion and that Celestial Master Lei Yi couldn't react in time, much less block or evade it. Thus, he was immediately killed. How terrifying! Jian Wushuang was also left in awe and shock after the episode. Chapter 1065, Father and Son. The formidable attack left the crowd in shock. To them, perhaps the legendary sword cultivator, Sunrise Sword Emperor, was the only one in the entire Green Fire world capable of surpassing the swordsmanship demonstrated earlier. Shocked as they were even more confused by the outcome of the events. Yes, they were confused. It was Jian Wushuang who made the first attack. He ought to be the one who offended the supervisor. However, the supervisor killed Celestial Master Lei Yi instead of punishing Jian Wushuang. Just what was going on? Everyone was deeply bewildered. Lord. Celestial Master Dong Ming from the ancient demon clan trembled with fear. There were only 3 Celestial Masters out of the entire ancient demon clan, yet this new supervisor had now killed one of them. He would have let it go if Lei Yi truly displeased or offended the new supervisor, but the supervisor had clearly acted unjustly. Dong Ming was furious but didn't show it on his face. Infuriated as he was, he dared not voice it out at the thought of the supervisor's status and power. Under everyone's shocked gazes, the indigo-robed man on the throne waved his hand and another throne appeared. The throne lined up exactly with his. He turned to look at Jian Wushuang. "Come here, boy," the man said gently, his voice carrying a hint of amicableness and familiarity. "Yes, father," Jian Wushuang answered, walking up to the supervisor. Silence fell over the drill ground when everyone heard Jian Wushuang's reply. "Father." Jian Wushuang called the supervisor. "Father. Is this new supervisor Jian Wushuang's father? Are you kidding me?" They were stunned. They were totally at a loss. Experts present had just received some information about the new supervisor. The information had been confidential, but since he was now the new supervisor, the Samsara Temple decided to reveal it. They now knew that the new supervisor was a talent who had cultivated at an unprecedented speed in the history of the Samsara Temple. It took him a mere 2,000 years to enter the 9th phase of Reincarnator. He was also said to be the Samsara Temple Master's personal disciple. He was an eye-catching and unimaginably talented person. Jian Wushuang was even more incredible, for he was an Eternal Realm expert who defeated a Celestial Master. In terms of talent, he was definitely the best in the entire Green Fire world. He surpassed even the supervisor. It was rare to find even a single genius like them, yet there was now 2 of them in this world, and they happened to be father and son. How could this be possible? Both father and son were outstanding men who had demonstrated their mighty strength. The scenario made them felt like they were dreaming. No wonder third brother failed to find his father no matter how hard he tried. It turns out that his father is such an extraordinary figure. Su Ru thought to herself in awe. That brat is the supervisor's son? Patriarch of Empyrean Glory was wide-eyed with shock. Compared to his anger, he was more relieved at the thought of escaping from death. Thank God. Thank God, our issue has been resolved and I kept my word not to trouble him. Even though I've indeed hunted him down before, there should be no reason for the terrifying supervisor to take revenge on me. I'll just apologize to him after the ceremony, Patriarch of Empyrean Glory muttered. Untamed and unruly as he wasn't self-conceited. In fact, few could take his life in the whole Green Fire world. He didn't take 4 peak clans seriously, for no one among them stood a chance of killing him. The supervisor was a whole other story. Having witnessed that formidable strike, Patriarch of Empyrean Glory was sure that the supervisor could take him out. Ignoring others' amazement, Jian Wushuang walked toward the supervisor and took the seat beside him. You've improved a lot, boy. In such a short time, you can even defeat a celestial master. Jian Nantian complimented his son with a smile. I'm still lacking in many ways compared to you, father, Jian Wushuang replied with a smile. Don't compare yourself with me, for we have different experiences. Technically, you're much more excellent than me, Jian Nantian said. Oh. Jian Wushuang raised an eyebrow. Now he was full of doubts. Father's strength is far more powerful and his cultivation rate faster too. Why did he say that? Jian Wushuang, is this really your father? Jiyu King asked. Of course. Jian Wushuang nodded. How could he mistake someone else as his father? Whether in terms of appearance, temperament, or the sense of familiarity, Jian Wushuang was 100% sure that the one in front of him was his father. If he's your father, then things are going to be interesting, Jiyu King added. What do you mean? Jian Wushuang looked confused. You said that your father was born in the ancient world 2,000 years ago, where he became the reincarnator, before coming to the Samsara continent. That means he's only a little over 2,000 years old. However, from what I see, the supervisor is at least 100,000 years old. Jiyu King replied. What? Jian Wushuang was startled. His father was more than 10,000 years old? How was this possible? Believe me, we Plenilune clansmen are known for our self-recovery capabilities and we're exceptionally sensitive to vitality. I'm certain that your father has lived over 100,000 years, Jiyu King said. How is that possible? Jian Wushuang was still in disbelief. My father is just decades older than me, a little more than 2,000 years old. How could he suddenly live over 100,000 years? It's impossible. Nothing is impossible. The world is full of surprises. Jiyu King laughed. If I'm not mistaken, your father must have entered a magic secret land where time moves faster than the outside world. For example, 1 year in the outside world is equivalent to 100 or even 1,000 years in the secret land. It's possible. Is that so? Jian Wushuang's eyes brightened. A secret land where the time flows differently from ours? Chapter 1066, Breaking into the Heaven-Ceasing Mountain a month later. There are a great number of experts in the eternal chaotic world. Naturally, there would be many mysterious means to improve cultivation as well. One of the methods is to change the speed of time. But only very few great experts can do that. The practitioner must reach the level of the founder of the Stars clan or of King Luo Zhan. Besides, he needs to have high attainment in time and space. Such a powerful secret land isn't supposed to exist in the Green Fire world, Jiyu King said, frowning. Ever since Jiyu King parasitized Jian Wushuang's body, he had encountered countless descendants of the famed bloodlines in the eternal chaotic world during the latter's cultivation journey in the Green Fire world and the Samsara continent in particular. Though those descendants possessed incredibly weak bloodline, their ancestors had been truly powerful back in the day. Now, he had even discovered a powerful method of changing time flow. The more time passed, the more he found the Green Fire world to be extraordinary. Your father not only has a long lifespan but also has an unusual constitution, Jiyu King added. His constitution? Jian Wushuang was startled. Your father is an incredible swordsman and is even more talented than you in terms of sword principle. Apart from his inborn talent, his constitution also contributes to his fast cultivation speed. If my assumption isn't wrong, his constitution must belong to the legendary sword spirit. Constitution of sword spirit? What's that? Jian Wushuang asked. Well, it's a long story. I'll explain later, Ji Yuqing answered. Okay. Jian Wushuang agreed, for he knew now wasn't the time for their conversation. When the experts knew Jian Wushuang was the supervisor's son, they understood why he chose to kill Celestial Master Lei Yi instead. Celestial Master Dongming, Jian Nantian called, looking at Dongming with his cold, deep eyes. Dongming shuddered before raising his head to look at Jian Nantian in fear. Scared as he was also occupied with other thoughts. When he heard Jian Wushuang calling the supervisor father, he finally realized the identity of the indigo-robed man. Lei Yi had called Jian Wushuang the son of a low-born man, and that low-born man was none other than Jian Nantian. 2,000 years ago, the ancient demon clan belittled the father and son and almost killed them. They've now become such powerful people. One is Jian Wushuang, and the other is the supervisor of the Samsara temple. This. Dongming was too shocked to think more. Celestial Master Dongming, it has been 2,000 years. How's the one on the heaven-ceasing peak doing? Jian Nantian asked while looking at Dongming. Well. Dongming was stunned. He then nodded and said, fine. He's fine. Jian Nantian snorted before looking away from Dongming. Then, his majestic voice resounded in everyone's ears. Thank you for coming here to celebrate my new role as the supervisor. Today, I've something to announce and hope all of you can be my witnesses. The experts present perked up their ears. Ninth Sword Dao Master of the ancient demon clan kidnapped my wife, Ji Wuming, 2,000 years ago and locked up her on the heaven-ceasing peak since. In that time, I've become the reincarnator and almost gotten myself killed countless times. I've come here after experiencing all sorts of hardship. I and our child, Jian Wushuang, have become stronger. The time has come. It's time for us to take revenge on the ancient demon clan. My son and I will break into the heaven-ceasing peak in a month to free my wife. Whoever who gets in our way will be killed. His cold voice echoed through the drill ground. His voice that carried such firm resolution and strong killing intent frightened the crowd. Dongming's face turned deadly pale with fear. Jian Nantian and Jian Wushuang would break into the heaven-ceasing peak in a month? This explosive news triggered heated discussions among the crowd. Most of them had heard of the heaven-ceasing peak in the ancient demon clan. It was a forbidden area where even its clansmen stayed away from out of fear. It was said that only clansmen who committed flagrant crimes or made the clan suffer great loss would be imprisoned on the heaven-ceasing peak. How did Jian Wushuang's mother and the supervisor's wife end up being confined in the heaven-ceasing peak? Break into the heaven-ceasing peak? Will they wage an all-out war against the ancient demon clan? On the one hand, we have the ancient demon clan, the leader of the 4 peak clans in the Samsara continent. On the other hand, we have 2 geniuses from the Green Fire world, both of which have acquired the battle strength of a celestial master. The supervisor's strength is fathomless. What will happen when 2 huge forces fight each other? Oh, God! Big event. This is going to be the most thrilling event in the Samsara continent. Everyone on the drill ground was swept into an uproar. Celestial Master Dongming, you'd better relay my words to heart-withered Celestial Master. He has a month to make a decision, Jian Nantian said, his eyes sparkling with rage. Dongming trembled as he looked up, giving Jian Nantian a momentary glance. He then made a bow with folded hands, turned around, and left the ceremony with his clansmen and Lei Yi's body. He wore a grave expression as he left. He had come to realize just how serious things had become. If this matter was handled improperly, their clan would likely suffer heavy casualties or even get slaughtered. He could not help looking so grim. When the experts from the ancient demon clan left, Jian Nantian waved his hand again. Today is to celebrate my new role as the supervisor. Enjoy yourselves. Music followed his words and maids and servants came in, bringing in good wine and delicious food and placing them on the table. The feast must still go on despite the accident. However, the host of the feast left with Jian Wushuang after announcing his explosive decision. Inside a grand palace, the father and son sat opposite each other. Chapter 1067, Constitution of Sword Spirit. It has been a long time. Have a drink. Jian Nantian took out a jug of wine and handed it to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang accepted the jug and took a huge swig of it without hesitation. Then, he started asking his father what had happened to him in the past 2,000 years. "Father, are you really the Samsara Temple Master's personal disciple?" he asked curiously. "Yes." Jian Nantian smiled as he continued, 1,000 years ago, Master began paying attention to me after I made great breakthrough within a short time. When I became the rank 5 reincarnator, he took me in as his personal disciple. Since then, he had patiently instructed me and even sent me to a secret land at great cost. That's how I have made such rapid progress in such a short period. I see. Jian Wushuang raised an eyebrow. I intended to go to the Void Continent to seek you after freeing your mother, but I didn't expect you to find me first, Jian Nantian said with a smile. In terms of the speed of growth, Jian Wushuang was much faster than him. He was well aware of this. Owing to his experience, he was more powerful than his son now. He had narrowly escaped death many times during the tournaments in the Samsara Temple. After becoming the Samsara Temple Master's personal disciple, he had received his master's guidance on cultivation and lots of useful resources. Yet, his son had improved his strength on his own. Most importantly, he had been to the secret land. He had stayed in the secret land for 1,000 years, which was equivalent to him spending 100,000 years on his cultivation. That was the reason behind his strong power and profound swordsmanship. What about Jian Wushuang? He had traveled in the Void Continent alone and gradually enhanced his strength. In the span of over 2,000 years, he grew from a little lad from the ancient world into a well-known expert in the green fire world. His growth speed was much more amazing compared to his father. Jian Wushuang, your father who possesses the constitution of sword spirit, had great potential in cultivation. However, Jiu King's regretful voice resounded in Jian Wushuang's mind. Go on. Jian Wushuang said. What's the constitution of sword spirit? The constitution of sword spirit is a rare constitution, Jiu King replied. You know that magic weapons have spirits. Of course. Jian Wushuang responded with a little nod. He had learned that magic weapons possessed spirits, and that the higher the magic weapon ranked, the stronger its spirit was. Magic weapons all have spirits, and some high-level ones even have their own consciousness, Jiu King explained. When magic weapons with consciousnesses realize that they're about to be destroyed, their intelligence will escape. Most of their intelligence will vanish while some will enter other magic weapons. The last case is the rarest one. The intelligence of the high-level magic weapon will enter a person's body and integrate with his flesh and consciousness. That's how the constitution of spirit comes to be. Your father belongs to the last case and thus boasts the constitution of sword spirit. The intelligence of a magic sword must have combined with your father's body. Jian Wushuang looked amazed. Father owns the constitution of sword spirit because his body and a magic sword's intelligence have combined? Jiu King then continued, the constitution of sword spirit is rare in the eternal chaotic world. Talent and potential in sword principle come instinctively to people with such constitution. You can even go as far as to say they're born to be a sword itself. They can easily fathom sword principles and are real sword principle geniuses. The sword spirit that entered your father's body is a high-level spirit, and your father was meant to make remarkable achievements. His potential was promising, though not as excellent as yours. Unfortunately, his foundation was injured when he was young, which greatly weakened his potential, Jiu King said, shaking his head. Jian Wushuang's face darkened with disappointment. It occurred to him that his father had taken the reversal red scorching elixir to recover his strength at a critical moment in the ancient world back then. The side effect of the elixir was that his potential for cultivation would be limited, and the impact of it was great on Jian Nantian. Besides, Jian Wushuang also knew that Zhu Xiu had extracted one of his father's sword souls. One sword soul was the origin and foundation of his sword principle. The first sword soul which Jian Nantian had awakened was crucial to him, but it was stolen by Zhu Xiu. It was a great blow to him. The 2 consecutive injuries had greatly impaired Jian Nantian's potential in cultivation. Even so, Jian Nantian still managed to acquire such an incredible power within a short time. Obviously, he owed his impressive growth speed to his powerful sword spirit and his impressive capability. Jiu King, Is there any way to regain his lost potential? Jian Wushuang asked. No. Jiu King shook his head. His foundation has been damaged. You know how important the foundation is. Your flawless foundation contributes to your unlimited potential for cultivation. But your father, the potential for cultivating cannot be rehabilitated. Even if his potential has been greatly weakened, he with the constitution of sword spirit is enough to impress. I can tell you with certainty that your father is destined to reach the level of Samsara Temple Master and Void Temple Master. Moreover, he'd be superior to his peers of the same level. However, that's all he could do. It's unrealistic for him to go beyond that. I see. Jian Wushuang nodded, feeling disappointed. Jian Nanqian's foundation had been hurt when he was in the ancient world. There was no way of recovering it. He was doomed not to be able to stand at the summit of the eternal chaotic world. However, he could easily reach the top of the green fire world. Suddenly, Jin Nanqian asked him, Shuang'er, do you know why I chose to break into the heaven-ceasing peak in a month? Why? Jian Wushuang blurted out. It'll be 2,100 years since she was taken away from us on the last day of next month. I clearly remember that. I've never forgotten that she was captured, not even for a moment. His father clasped his hands, his eyes filled with fury. Jian Wushuang was astounded. Those whose strength has reached my level tend to ignore the lapsing of the time. Take me for example. I don't even remember my age. Yet father still remembers that. Chapter 1068, Holy Master of the Exceptional Realm. For 2,100 years, father has remembered the date on which mother was abducted. It shows how important mother is to father. Jian Wushuang thought to himself in amazement. 1 month. There is only 1 month left. Jian Nanqian exclaimed. Jian Nanqian took a sip of his wine, his vision turning sharper. Meng'er, I'll pick you up in a month, and then our family will be reunited. I will go to mother's rescue in a month's time, Jian Wushuang said, his eyes glistening with resolution. While Jian Wushuang was conversing with Jian Nanqian, the ancient demon clan had fallen into a state of chaos. As one of the 4 greatest clans on Samsara continent, the powerful ancient demon clan rarely experienced distress from any happenings. Today, however, the news of Holy Master Lei Yi's death and Jian Nanqian's and Jian Wushuang's plans to break into heaven-ceasing peak put the entire ancient demon clan into a state of rage and astonishment. There were only 3 Dao masters in the whole of ancient demon clan. The killing of one of them expectedly infuriated the ancient demon clansmen. Beyond their fury, they were astounded. Majority of the ancient demon clan seniors had gathered in the solemn and sizable palace. There were 3 black thrones in the palace hall. 2 were occupied by the 2 remaining holy masters in the clan Dongming and Heart Withered, the latter of whom was the strongest in the clan. The 3rd throne belonged to Holy Master Lei Yi. Since he had died, his throne was empty. And that is what happened. Holy Master Dongming quickly summarized what had happened at the inauguration ceremony. After finishing his words, he swept his glance over the crowd. Upon hearing Holy Master Dongming's words, all the experts present wore a grave look. Are you saying that the new supervisor of Samsara Temple is my disciple's husband? The husband that she found in the ancient world? And that well-known Jian Wushuang is their son? Holy Master Heart Withered broke the silence with his solemn voice. Yes, Holy Master Dongming nodded. It can't be. Heart Withered narrowed his eyes. He could not believe this fact. It has been a mere 2,000 years since my disciple returned from ancient world. At that time, both Jian Nanqian and Jian Wushuang were as powerless as ants. I will not doubt it if only one of them had made great progress within this 2,000 years. But it's unbelievable that both of them have progressed into outstanding experts. It's hard to believe, but it's true, Holy Master Dongming responded with a frown. Jian Nanqian declared before the experts that he and his son would break into heaven-ceasing peak and spare no mercy to anyone who dared to get in their way. We ought to think of a plan to deal with this father-son duo. Holy Master Heart Withered's face darkened with worry. Based on what Holy Master Dongming has just said, Jian Nanqian and Jian Wushuang alone was able to defeat Lei Yi. Within the whole ancient demon clan, only I can bring him down. Jian Nantian is even more powerful than Jian Wushuang, and he will arrive in a month's time. Dong Ming, are you sure that Jian Nantian took Lei Yi's life with only one strike of his sword? Holy Master Heart Withered asked, raising his eyebrow. Yes, I am sure. I am not the only one who witnessed the scene. All the experts present did too. Jian Nantian launched only one strike with his sword, and a strange one at that. The strike looked slow and weak, but it killed Lei Yi before he could even defend himself, Holy Master Dong Ming replied. A slow and weak blow. Holy Master Heart Withered repeated, his forehead wrinkling into a deeper frown. The sword principle he created must be incredibly powerful. With the integration of his three sword principles, his dharmic form of invincibility became exceptionally overwhelming. Judging from what you said, he most probably have reached the level of the Holy Master of the Exceptional Realm. Holy Master of the Exceptional Realm? Do you mean that he is as strong as you are? Holy Master Dong Ming asked, looking astounded. The Holy Master's strength varied. The type of sword principles cultivated and the number of integrated principles divided the Holy Masters into several different strength levels. The Holy Masters of the elementary level were the weakest. They could barely integrate two principles and attain the dharmic form of invincibility. Blood Azura clan's great elder Lin Li and Holy Master Ape of the three big countries were at this level. The elementary level was the lowest level which a Holy Master could belong to. Then there is the intermediate level. Most of the Holy Masters at this level could integrate two principles, which were usually of heaven or earth level. Sometimes, one of the principles might even be of a creation level. Holy Masters who were able to integrate principles of higher levels were able to attain stronger dharmic forms of invincibility. Xia clan's founder Xia Yong, who was slayed by Jian Wushuang in Tang of the East, and ancient demon clan's Holy Masters Dong Ming and Lei Yi belonged to the intermediate level. Following the intermediate level was the advanced level. Holy Masters of the advanced level had integrated either two principles of the creation level or three normal principles. The Patriarch of Empyrean Glory was an advanced Holy Master with exceptional strong power. The strongest Holy Masters of all belonged to the Holy Master of the Exceptional Realm. Holy Master Heart Withered of the Ancient Demon Clan and Su Ru's Master Su Qian, the most powerful being in Blood Azura Clan, were at this level. Holy Masters of this level had integrated three principles, and at least one of the principles is of the creation level. After being informed on how Jian Nantian had killed Lei Yi, Holy Master Heart Withered figured that Jian Nantian possessed the strength of Holy Master of the Exceptional Realm. Huge gaps exist among Holy Masters and experts of different levels. To kill a Holy Master of the intermediate level, such as Holy Master Dong Ming, with a single strike of the sword, one must at least have the battle strength of Holy Master of the Exceptional Realm. Even Holy Master Heart Withered had no absolute confidence in taking Holy Master Dong Ming out in one blow. You mentioned that Jian Nantian has the strength of Holy Master in the Exceptional Realm. Do you think he can beat you? Holy Master Dong Ming asked Holy Master Heart Withered. It's hard to say, Holy Master Heart Withered replied, shaking his head. Holy Masters at different levels differ from one another in strength. Wide gaps in power exist even within the same level. Look at Sunrise Sword Emperor, the best skilled sword cultivator in the Green Fire world. He is a Holy Master, but his real battle strength remains as a mystery. Both Sunrise Sword Emperor and I have the power of Holy Master of the Exceptional Realm. But I could not even pluck up the courage to challenge him to a duel. Perhaps Jian Nantian is not strong enough to defeat Sunrise Sword Emperor. But since he had managed to kill Lei Yi with one blow, his power is unlikely to be weaker than mine. Only a fight between us could prove whether he is able to bring me down. Chapter 1069, The Blue-Robed Woman. Even you don't think you can beat him? Holy Master Dong Ming could not help but frown. Yes, but even if I can't defeat him, he also can't easily bring me down. Besides, this is the stronghold of the ancient demon clan. We have the advantage of numbers. Jian Nantian said that they would come alone, so there is nothing to worry about. The Heaven-Ceasing Peak is a forbidden area in the ancient demon clan. No one has been broken the rules and entered it since our clan was founded. Jian Nantian and Jian Wushuang don't have the right to enter the forbidden ground either. He expects us to hand over her. How ridiculous! Give my order to all our clansmen to prepare for a fight. In less than a month, we must give the disrespectful father and son a good welcome." Holy Master Ku Shin's voice boomed in the palace hall. The experts of the ancient demon clan listened to him attentively, their eyes teeming with confidence. There were 3 holy masters in the clan, but Holy Master Ku Shin was the most powerful. The clansmen were convinced that Ku Shin was the ancient demon clan's best chance in the coming battle. The death of Holy Master Lei Yi was a huge blow to the ancient demon clan. But as long as Holy Master Ku Shin was alive and well, the experts in ancient demon clan would not lose their confidence. The experts in the hall dispersed. Holy Master Ku Shin leapt into the air and soared over pine trees toward a giant mountain in the center of the ancient demon clan. Tens of thousands of meters high, the giant mountain towered in the sky. This was a breathtaking mountain, and around it were swirling scarlet currents, which encircled the entire mountain like roaring flames. This was Heaven-Ceasing Peak. It stood right in the center of the ancient demon clan, but generations of ancient demon clansmen were still in awe of the mysterious mountain. An old black tower lay at the cloud-covered summit of the rocky mountain. Standing at 19 stories tall, the black tower was massive. On the 19th floor of the tower, a blue-robed woman sat cross-legged on a stone bed. Only silence accompanied her in the dim empty space atop the ancient black tower. The woman exuded elegance, and though she was middle-aged, she still looked attractive with her snow-white skin. However, the blue-robed woman was chained. Both her hands and legs wore handcuffs and fetters made of a special material. Besides, she was trapped by a restriction. Her spiritual power had been sealed, and so had her bloodline power. She had been confined to this black tower for over 2,000 years, and couldn't move more than a radius of 10 meters around the stone bed. Despite her imprisonment, she was calm and composed. Of course, during the first few days of the 2,000 years, she had struggled and was almost driven to madness, but time had calmed her down. Suddenly, "Apprentice!" A strong, old voice penetrated the restrictions on the giant mountain and passed through the black tower. It reached the blue-robed woman's ear. "Master!" The woman raised her head, looking calm. The Holy Master Ku Shin, standing on the void around the giant mountain, fixed his eyes on the old tower. He continued, "I must inform you. A month from now, our clan will have 2 guests, Xianxia and Wushuang." "What?" The blue-robed woman in the black tower jumped up excitedly. "Master, you promised me. You promised to spare them as long as I stayed here to reflect upon my mistakes. You promised me." The desperate howls from the blue-robed woman echoed out from within the tower. With the yells came a forceful push from the bloodline, and Holy Master Ku Shin frowned. More than 2,000 years have passed, and she has suffered torment and pain in the Heaven-Ceasing Peak. I thought that she would have forgotten them, but she is still thrilled at the sound of their names. Holy Master Ku Shin thought remorselessly. "I have kept the promise that I made to you. Since I brought you here, our clansmen have not laid hands on either of them. I punished Zhu Xiu for extracting Jian Nanshan's sword soul. We had no intention of turning against them, but now they have threatened to attack our clan." He continued with a sneer. "What did you say?" The blue-robed woman was stunned. "Jian Nanshan and Wushuang are coming to attack the clan? How is this possible? I have underestimated them. I did not expect either of them to have attained such a high cultivation within 2,000 years. Now one of them is a supervisor of the Samsara Temple. Moreover, he is likely to become the personal disciple of the Samsara Temple Master, and he has the battle strength equal to any holy master who has reached the exceptional realm. He is now my opponent. The other is your son, Wushuang. Although he is only at the eternal realm level, he is so strong that he brought down Holy Master Lei Yi. They unparalleled talents of the green fire world, of the type seen only every billion years. Besides, yesterday they announced that they will break into the Heaven-Ceasing Peak and kill anyone who gets in their way, the Holy Master said coldly. These words also reached the blue-robed woman. She was even more astounded. How did this happen? What's going on? The woman was full of doubts. Since she chose to enter the Heaven-Ceasing Peak, she never expected to be able to see either of them again. She hadn't even dreamed that they would come to rescue her one day. All she really wanted for them was to live a safe and peaceful life in the ancient world, but now... "Apprentice." After a pause, Holy Master Ku Xin continued. You already know the power of our clan and the reality of your situation. No one can save you. In a month, the battle between our clan and the two of them cannot be avoided. I promise you that I will not kill them, but I hope you can completely erase them from your mind this time. This is the best solution for our clan as well as for them. Chapter 1070. Arrival. I'm done here. The decision is your own. Holy Master Ku Xin glanced at the old black tower, shook his head and left with a sigh. In the tower, the blue-robed woman stood there with desperation in her eyes. She murmured, Nantian. Shuang'er. How are you? A month ago, Jian Nantian announced that he would break into heaven-ceasing peak at his inauguration ceremony. The news had already spread throughout the whole Samsara continent. The month was up. The enormous void of the ancient demon clan was filled with people. Most experts in the Samsara continent had gathered. The other three peak populations, other strong clans from divine monster territory, many solitary experts, such as the Patriarch of Empyrean Glory and the Duke of Ghost, inner elders and gold-clothed deacons from the Samsara temple all gathered here to watch their fight. The whole void was buzzing. Many people privately call the ancient demon clan the most powerful population in the Samsara continent. The clan boasts of vast strength and an extensive army, but this time, the ancient demon clan has angered a formidable opponent. The supervisor of the Samsara temple killed Holy Master Lei Yi with just one strike. He must have the strength of a holy master of the exceptional realm. In the entire ancient demon clan, perhaps only Holy Master Ku Xin is his match. This time, the ancient demon clan will be in grave danger. I don't think so. I heard that this supervisor is bringing his son, which means that he will not mobilize all the experts of the Samsara temple. It is only the two of them fighting. They are strong, but they can't defeat the entire ancient demon clan. In any case, this battle will be vicious. This is certain. I only hope that the ancient demon clan will not concede. It won't be interesting if them release the prisoner as soon as the supervisor and Jian Wushuang arrive. That's not gonna happen. The heaven-ceasing peak is important to the ancient demon clan. They won't hand over the prisoner unless they have no other choice. Besides, have you noticed the formation over there? They have already activated it, which means they are going to use it to defend themselves against their enemy. This formation seems to be very powerful. More than just strong. This is the clan-defending formation of the ancient demon clan. It is said that there is no way to break it unless several holy masters of the exceptional realm join forces. The void became noisy with gossiping voices. At this moment, two figures appeared in the distance, striding towards the ancient demon clan shoulder to shoulder. Silence swept through the crowd. Countless eyes looked on in awe and admiration. They both carried long swords, and radiated a strong sense of power. Jian Nantian is the new supervisor of the Samsara temple. It is said that he is the personal disciple of the Samsara temple master. The other is Jian Wushuang. He may only be of the eternal realm, but there is no doubting his power. The father and son have finally arrived. No one breathed. After the inauguration ceremony held a month ago, Jian Nantian's and Jian Wushuang's reputation had spread across the continent. The two prodigies who happened to be father and son shocked the crowd. Under the scrutiny of the crowd, Jian Wushuang and Jian Nantian arrived at the void above the ancient demon clan. Through the grand formation, they saw everyone within the ancient demon clan. They saw a lot of experts in ancient demon clan who had gathered there, and their leader who was a white-haired elder within the formation. Is he the Holy Master Ku Xin? Jian Wushuang wondered, fixing his eyes on the white-haired elder. Jian Wushuang had heard a lot about Holy Master Ku Xin, who was of the exceptional realm. He was the most powerful expert in the green fire world under the Samsara Temple Master, the Temple Master of Void and the Tang Emperor. The several holy masters he had fought against, including the strongest one, the Patriarch of Empyrean Glory, were not even qualified to be Holy Master Ku Xin's opponent. Apart from Holy Master Ku Xin, Jian Wushuang did not fear other experts of the ancient demon clan, not even including Holy Master Dongming. He also considered the formation that was the pride of the ancient demon clan. The ancient demon clan must have a lot of strength. Otherwise, they couldn't have survived so long as one of the 4 peak populations of the Samsara continent. They even deployed their clan-defending formation. It seems that they are not going to yield to us, Jian Wushuang said with a cold laughter. I assumed so. Calm and determined, Jian Nantian took a step forward and faced off against Holy Master Ku Xin across the large formation. Holy Master Ku Xin, have you made your decision? Jian Nantian said, staring at him. Of course I have, Holy Master Ku Xin answered, his gaze landing on Jian Nantian. Jian Nantian, you are the supervisor of the Samsara temple now. If there was any other way, we, the ancient demon clan, wouldn't dare to offend you. But the prisoner in Heaven Ceasing Peak holds great importance to us. It's impossible to hand her over to you, then we have nothing left to say, Jian Nantian responded in a calm voice. As soon as he finished his sentence, his long sword rushed out of his saber and light streaked across his long sword. The sword light was cold, dazzling. Most importantly, it still moved slowly as if it might not harm its target. The experts narrowed their eyes when they saw the sword light. They clearly remembered that Jian Nantian had directly struck Holy Master Lei down with this technique easily at his inauguration ceremony a month ago. Even Holy Master Ku Xin frowned at the sight of this strange sword light, but he was not frightened. Slow as the sword light looked, it actually was moving at a very rapid speed. The force of the sword fell directly onto the clan-defending formation. However, it only caused several ripples on the formation, then the light from the blow vanished. What? Jian Nantian muttered, a hint of surprise flashing through his eyes. How can this be? Many experts behind Jian Wushuang were shocked by the scene. They all knew the power of Jian Nantian's light sword. A holy master had died under this attack. However, this formidable sword light had failed to cause any damage to the formation. That formation was indestructible.